actually loss of trust is probably the biggest risk with data products that I've seen. If you're not careful, it's pretty easy to show kind of like incongruous results, and as soon as your users lose trust in something that, like, as you mentioned, maybe they don't understand fully to begin with, it's hard to dig that trust back, right? It's kind of like, if you're selling a car and people believe that something in the internals of the combustion engine is flaky or not to be trusted, right? Well, no one's going to buy the car. So it's kind of a similar thing was starting to happen with Optimizely. And so what we did is we changed the statistics to be to kind of like match the way users use the system. Because as it turns out, like the classical, the stuff that you mentioned that you search for on Google only really works if you do kind of like the standard operation, which is you start the experiment, you divide your groups into 50-50 split, and then you don't look at the results for, say, however long, 10,000 users, 100,000 users, 2 weeks, a month. And then only at the very end do you look at the results and you see if one's better or the other. It only works in that situation. And the problem is Optimizely, which makes total sense because it's a completely online business, was all built around dashboards, right? So you can sit there every hour, every day, and look at the significance number trending over time. And that's like the exact wrong way to do it, because there's some variability there, and you'll see these kind of like sporadic spikes. And if you catch those, well, then you get false positives. So what we did is we changed the math to account for that. It's called sequential testing. And it was kind of neat because this is probably the biggest example, or the main example that I have, where we did some pretty deep kind of like theoretical stuff. We ended up writing papers, but it was also ended up being something that was pretty useful and from a product sense, because, right, well, this stats engine that we built is still a flagship product for Optimizely.